Hi, I'm Malcolm.
And I'm Rachel. We're two Canadians living on our 39-foot mainship trawler, living an adventure of a lifetime. We invite you to follow along as we travel 6,000 miles through Canadian and U.S. waterways around America's Great Loop. Well, hi there. We are in Carrabelle. We've been here one night at the moorings, and interesting staying here actually. And these the docks are kind of interesting. Anyway, it's good. We had a good night.
Yeah.
We've just been to the grocery store and bought a few snacks. We've been talking to other loopers, and we have a plan for going across the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow.
Overnight trip too.
Who would have thought? So
this is probably our biggest trip we're going to make, and I think we're pretty well prepared. Malcolm is he's got his lists and stuff. You know, I like lists.
So we've run the engine this morning just to make sure there's no other issues. That all went well. We're pretty much full on fuel. We're full on water.
Yep.
Empty on the black water tank, and
full of
we've maybe overdone it. We've got a grab bag, a ditch bag. So we're ready in that regard too. Hopefully never have to use it, but what do they say? Plan for the worst, hope for the best, because that's what we're doing. So we've got other buddy boats coming with us, and that's all been organized, and we'll tell you how it goes. We'll see how it ends up. We're hoping to be on anchor when we're all done this and sleep it off.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We have a plan to be awake together for the first part. We're leaving at 3 o'clock from here and going to get to Dog Island for around 4-ish. We have, I think, 7 boats altogether.
Yep.
7, I think it's 7.
I think it's 7.
Maybe 8. Someone might join us later. So we're all planning to go about 7.5 knots average speed. We are wanting to stay 1 mile apart from each other, and we'll have our lights on and all that sort of thing. We'll talk to each other minimally through the night so that some of us can get some sleep. So we plan to be awake for the beginning part. Malcolm's going to do some fishing. Fingers crossed that he gets something.
Yes.
And then as it gets dark and into the evening, we're going to do some shifts where we're driving by ourselves and the other one can sleep a bit.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Maybe he'll be too excited to sleep.
Oh, maybe. It's supposed to be a gorgeous night. The weather looks like it's really lining up, which is just what we were looking for.
Nice small waves.
Yep.
Low
small
wind.
Waves, big moon.
Yeah, full moon last night.
We're hoping we'll have a spotlight on us as we go across.
Yeah.
And we're taking a route that will take us directly down to in front of Tarpon Springs. We'll be about 23 miles offshore, and then we're going to take a 90-degree into shore so that the sun isn't directly in our eyes when we hit those crab pots.
That's right.
So we've timed it, I think, that we will have our best chance of missing all the crab pots that are in our way.
Yeah. So arriving or docking or anchoring probably late morning, maybe even around noon, 11 or 12 o'clock, I think, something like that. Yeah, so fingers crossed everything goes well. And then, of course, we're going to do our shifts, and then we're going to be awake for the arrival, of course, because we have to be eyes open looking for crab pots.
Yeah, that will be it. And we'll have, hopefully everyone's eyes will be open as we come in, but some will be carrying on a little further down the coast, some will be coming in. So
yeah, we're not all going to the same final destination, but we'll at least be doing the same general route all the way down.
That's right. So it should be an interesting ride. This is the biggest, longest ride for the loop. Some people have said if you can do Lake Michigan, you can do this. So we're going to hold them to that because we've done Lake Michigan.
And this will be calm.
Yes.
We think.
And we know that some boaters have done this and it's been not calm, and they've turned around and come back. Some have come back because of fog. We don't have any of those issues forecast today. So again, forecasted. We'll tell you whether or not it turns out that way.
And we'll talk about this as we go along today. I'm going to try and record some of this as we go, but it's going to be dark at times, so we'll see what we can show you as we go. Anyway, hope you're having a great day. So we just left Carrabelle and heading out to the inlet, out to the Gulf of Mexico beside Dog Island. It's a beautiful day. There is a bit of wind and it feels a little cooler in the wind, but we know the wind is supposed to die down today and it is going to be calm. The waters are calm, which is the most important thing. There's no big waves. It's supposed to be 1 foot or less, and one of the forecasts is showing many zeros for waves, and we really like zeros. So we're headed out today with our group. We're going to get into our order based on size of boat and the technology that we have on board in terms of AIS and radar and all that. We had a little chat about that last night and determined an order for our boats. There was actually 3 groups that we know of that are heading out at various speeds. We're kind of the middle speed of 7.5 knots or about 8.5 miles per hour. So we're headed out that way now, and let's hope for a safe and uneventful crossing. So behind me you can see some more looper boats that are in line with us as we go out the channel from Carrabelle, and we're heading out into a beautiful afternoon, and it is expected to be clear tonight with an almost full moon. Last night was a full moon, and tonight should be pretty much a full moon, so it should help us to be able to see. We're going to have our lights on as well with a floodlight at the back of the boat, and that'll help other boats to see us when we're out on the water, and we know there's quite a lot of boats taking advantage of this crossing time.
How are you? Doing all right, thanks. How are you doing?
A report from the bridge, impromptu. So we have just left the moorings, Carrabelle. A little, tense moments with the current and the dinghy. The dinghy wanted to stay behind and the boat wanted to go. So we convinced the dinghy, so we're fine. We are on our way. We're just approaching the inlet. All the rest of our buddy boats are all in line. We've all had our communications. We all know what we're supposed to do. Now it's just a matter for the weather to actually behave, and it looks like it's only getting better and better, so that's good. And then we'll check in periodically as we go, just to let you know how things are. But our hopes and our fingers are crossed that it's an uneventful, quiet crossing for the next 19 hours. So we'll talk to you in the middle and maybe on the other side. And that is the report from the bridge.
We have the autopilot engaged now, and so we're using that with a remote control. So it's my job to watch, and so here's the remote control. I can put it on standby if we need to and take over manually, but we have our route in the chart plotter, and so we're using the autopilot, and it should be relatively easy to do this, and all we have to do is monitor for other boats, making sure we're spaced far enough apart from the other boats in our flotilla, and we're hoping to be sort of roughly about a mile apart. So we just left a little while ago, about an hour ago, and so we're still kind of working out the spacing. One of the boats had to go sort of in front of us, so we're now going the right speed, but we're just going to fine-tune the spacing. And then once it gets dark, we'll all have our lights on, so we should be able to see a little dot of lights along our path. So I've just come down into the galley. I'm going to make some tea, put it in a mug with a lid so I can go up to the flybridge and just watch from up there. But with this autopilot, we can walk around the boat and sort of look around. You don't have to be at the helm all the time. So it's a really good feature to have on a boat when you're going a long distance, because it is pretty tiring. It's just like going in a car for, 19, 20 hours. That's a long time. So you don't want to be sitting in one place the whole time. You want to get up and stretch your legs a little bit if you can. So anyway, I can feel the boats moving around a little bit now. So we're just going over the wake of one of the other boats. I think that's what it is. So the autopilot is kind of correcting for that. So we'll check in again a bit later. So far so good. Let's go take a walk around the boat and see what we can see when we look out. The sunset is going to be really pretty tonight. There's nothing blocking the sun, so we're going to see it go right down to the horizon. And from the front of the boat, we are fourth in line, so we can see 3 boats ahead of us. There's one right there, and there's 2 more. It's really hard to see it on the camera, but there's 2 more ahead of him. And so we're number 4 in line, and there are, I think, 3 or 4 behind us. I think another boat joined us kind of at the last minute. So far it's a good journey. It's a little windy when we're out here, but the conditions are very good, nice and calm. The only wake is really from the other boats, so just making sure you're not in another boat's wake. And so that's why we have a lot of the larger boats at the back of the line, so that the smaller boats don't get too much wake if that happens. Let's go keep looking around the rest of the boat. Decided to take the cover off the dinghy so that in an emergency we can deploy it quickly and not worry about getting the cover off. We have a ditch bag and a grab bag ready to go, and if we need to abandon the boat for whatever reason, we're prepared. We're both always going to wear our life jackets, and I'll show you. We just have our bags just inside the salon here. So our grab bag is the red bag there. It's a waterproof bag. It's got our passports and wallets in there, any sort of keys, that kind of thing. And our other bag down at the bottom there has some kind of safety equipment, like our first aid kit. It has a knife in case we need to cut the lines of the dinghy quickly. We have it tied down with extra rope. We have some spare clothes. We have some food. And we actually, at the back of the boat here, have extra gas, which we'll throw in the dinghy if we need it, and a bottle of water. So we have probably something else I forgot, but anyway, we have lots of stuff in our bag, just in case we have to abandon our journey. Hopefully that won't happen, but it's calm, so I can't imagine anything like that will happen. So let's go up to the flybridge and take a look there. Flybridge, you can see it looks like nobody's driving the boat, but actually Malcolm has the remote control. He's kind of just staying out of the way while I take a picture here. So he's actually downstairs. He's monitoring, but the boat is on autopilot, so it is staying on course. And you can see there's a boat in front of us there. It's still actually a little bit too close to us. We're still working on the spacing and hoping that they're going to pull ahead just a little bit, but we're doing our agreed speed of 7.5 knots. So at night we don't want to be too close, so it's still a little close, but we'll I'm sure get that sorted out before the sun sets. So up here we have comfy pillows off in the corner, and on this side comfy pillows, so we can just take it easy here when we're not driving. Chart plotters there and everything, and so we'll just have a look at the back of the flybridge now. Hard to see those boats back there, but the first boat behind us is about a mile behind us, and we can see them pretty well, but on the camera it doesn't show up very well. So we have that first boat behind us, so they're number 5, I guess, and then I think there's 6, 7, 8, so 3 more boats behind them. I think they're closer than a mile apart, it looks like from here, but they got to work it out back there. So we'll get that sorted. And we have our throw ring right there. If we have a man overboard, we would press the MOB button on our chart plotter, man overboard, which marks where the person fell overboard, and obviously we'd stop and go back to that point, throw the ring in for the person who's overboard, and there's a rope attached to it which we should tie down to something on our boat so we can pull them in. Hopefully that won't happen. And but that's why we're wearing our life jackets all the time, so we're being safe. But look at that sky. It's so clear. The sun is out. Even hard to see it, actually. The sun is out there, and it will be setting probably in about half an hour. And the sky all around the whole horizon is kind of pink, and we're looking forward to seeing what it's like at night when we're out here. It's supposed to be a full moon again tonight. Well, virtually a full moon. It was full moon last night, I think, January the 6th. And today is January the 7th, so it will still look like a full moon, I think. So should see some stars, and hopefully the conditions will stay just as calm. The only real waves we can see here are just a little bit of fetch from the wind, really not much at all, but mostly just the wake from all of our boats. And I can see off in the distance, like really far away, a few boats here and there, probably fishing boats, but I imagine that they will be heading in now, so I doubt they're going to be out in the middle of the night. But anybody who is driving at night should have navigation lights on, so we'll be turning ours on soon. That's the red and green lights on the sides of the boat, and we're going to turn a light on, our floodlight on at the back of the boat, so other boats can see us as well. And our flag is just wafting here, just looking at it kind of slowly. It keeps tying itself up around the flagpole, but now it's just unfastened itself. So Malcolm's got 2 fishing lines out. One, he's got a heavy line on a spool kind of attached to our boat pole. It's kind of funny, but it works to keep it out from the boat so it's not near the prop. And then he just hooked up his fishing rod on the other side. He's hoping to catch like a tuna or something. Let's see if he does. Went and changed into something a little warmer. I have a sort of a warmer long sleeve shirt that I wear sometimes when it gets cold at night, and it's not cold yet, but I can feel a little bit of a chill in the air, so I thought I'd get that on now before I get cold. And I'm wearing my typical pink sweater that I wear. This is kind of like a, the old one that you wear at the cottage. Is not your best one, but people seem to know me in my pink sweater. They see me on the dock and they wave because they know that I'm the only one wearing this bright pink thing. Anyway, it's comfortable and should be good as we go into the evening hours when it gets colder. As soon as that sun goes down, I notice it gets quite a bit colder. That Florida sun is actually very warm. I think it got up to about 20 degrees Celsius today in Carrabelle, and it was forecast to be 16. So 20 is about 68 Fahrenheit, so it was really quite a nice day. And last night it got down to about 3, which I think is, I don't know, what is that, like 40 or something? I'm not sure, 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So it was pretty cold. We had the heater on. So I'm not sure what it's going to do when we come out here. We are heading south, so you'd think it would be a little bit warmer. But it is, a little bit cold, so wanted to be prepared for that. Anyway, we're all set, and I'll check in again in a little while. Hope you guys are having a great day. that sky. No matter which way you look, it's pink. It's incredible. Actually, I turn around towards the sun. The sun has just set. It's still bright over there, but has gone down. You can see just a little speck there. But every which way we look, it's pink. Brilliant, actually. Really pretty. We have the nav lights on outside, and we put the red light on inside, so it makes it a little easier. It's not too bright. And Malcolm just put on the floodlight on the back of the boat. So it is getting dark now, and you can see the sun has set. And if I tilt this up, you might be able to see the floodlight. Yeah, there's the floodlight on the back of the boat. So people behind us, or rather boats behind us, can see us. And I can see far away about 3 or 4 little lights off in the distance in the stern. I'm going to see if you can show you that on the camera. I can already see a star that's shining in the sky back there. You probably can't see it on the camera, but stars are out there. And on the other side of the boat, it's dark. It's getting dark. Can't see anything over there. We have a light at the side of the boat that's a motion sensor, and it keeps coming on. We might have to turn that off, I guess. The battery will probably die before the end of the night. Conditions this evening are really calm. The water has really calmed down a lot since when we left. I think there was a lot of boat traffic waves before, but it's very calm now. The sunset was stunning. The orange color of the sky went all the way around, 360 degrees around the whole skyline, the horizon. And then after the sun set, shortly after that, the moon came up. We had a really amazing moonrise. It was brilliant orange. And it's nearly a full moon. Yesterday was a full moon. So it came up, this big orange ball at the horizon line. And now it's a little bit higher up, and it's sort of bright yellow. And the stars are out, and we can see the boats behind us have their lights on. There's about about a half mile off from us to the starboard with his lights on, and the boats ahead of us, of course, with their lights on. So everything is falling into place. It's a pretty comfortable ride. We've filled our tummies and we're ready to motor on through the night. So I'll try to take a few more images. It's really hard to show. I can't show the stars. My camera's not good enough for that. But we can see pretty well, actually. I tried to take some video of the side of the boat where we can see with the naked eye, but I don't think the camera picks it up very well. But it's a very magical evening. We're really enjoying it so far. Hi there. We're just over halfway. It's about 1:30 in the morning, and I've had a bit of a snooze. It's hard to sleep when you're moving and you know you want to be sort of helping. So Malcolm has been driving for the last few hours, and the boats are pretty much stayed in that same distance apart from each other. So now I'm going to take over, and Malcolm's brought in his fishing line. He had it out all this time. Anyway, so that's where we are. And the moon is pretty much right over top of us now. It's still really bright. It's basically a full moon. And really nice to have that light actually while we're traveling. Anyway, we'll check in again a little bit later. So we're doing pretty well. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's still dark. The moon has moved to our stern starboard side, so I just took a little image of that, and you can see a boat sort of off to our side there, one of our group. And for the last about 3 or 4 hours, we've had a lot more choppy conditions, although it's not bad. I would say probably about 3-foot waves, but they're pretty short periods, so we're kind of going up and down a little bit. But it could be a lot worse if they were bigger than that. So we can see the boats behind us still off in the distance, and we can see the boats ahead of us. And some of them are a few miles ahead, so some of them have already started to turn into shore. So we're doing okay so far. Feeling a little tired. I was able to sleep a bit. Malcolm had a little bit of a sleep, not much at all. I think he's more interested in paying attention to where we are than actually going to sleep. And we'll definitely crash after we land. So so far so good. And just after 6 a.m., so we know the sun is going to come up in about an hour. Hi there. It's about 7:15 in the morning, and we're having some first light. We don't have the sun up just yet, but it's coming up soon. The seas seem to have calmed down a little bit as we have now turned more east, and we just checked in with the flotilla. Everybody had a reasonable night, although we did notice it got quite choppy there for about 3 or 4 hours, so everybody's kind of relieved that it's calmed down a little bit. And now our next job is to look for crab pots. We're in about 52 feet of water here, and we purposefully had our route out to 60 feet depth, because apparently they can go that deep. But we haven't seen any yet, but we're going to have our eyes peeled this next 2 or 3 hours as we get into Tarpon Springs area. Hope you're having a great day. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
It's about 7:30. We just had some breakfast, some oatmeal that we prepared earlier, and the sun is up now, so we're really glad that we can see better. We had an interesting night. It was a bit choppy, wasn't it, for a while?
The last 5 hours were choppy, and they were forecasting that the last 5 hours were actually going to be zero wind and waves. So that was a little unexpected, but that's something I think you have to be aware of. You plan as much as you can, you hope, but when you get out here, it can sometimes be a bit different. So
I think that's why you want to go for the least amount of waves and wind possible. You don't want to just hope for the best and sort of say, go for it. You want to make sure you plan.
Well, I mean, we would not want to be out here in over 2 foot waves, because it doesn't mean they're 2 feet. It means they're actually, most of them are actually higher than 2 feet. So, but you know, we survived. We had 5 hours of chop, but before that, it was actually really pleasant.
And actually, you know, we say chop, it wasn't actually that bad. It could have been a lot worse.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So so we've got through the majority of the trip. We have a last sort of 2 hours to go, and now we're eyes peeled for crab pots.
Yeah, and the only unfortunate bit in the whole thing is no fish. The fish, I was fishing for a large part of when we left Dog Island, and until actually it got dark, even after it was dark.
Well, after dark, actually.
But yeah, nothing was biting. I got weed. That was it.
Well, another time you will get your big fish.
Yes, I will.
Maybe in the Bahamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We've arrived near Tarpon Springs beside an island called Anclote Key Preserve State Park. And it's beautiful here. It's nice and warm. It's about 23 degrees Celsius, which I think is around 75, maybe, I'm not sure, Fahrenheit. And we had a really good trip. There were some times when it was quite wavy in the boat. It wasn't very wavy, but it was, you know, enough to rock the boat around a little bit. Took us about 20 hours, 143 nautical miles, and we got in just before 11 a.m. And so we left at 3 p.m. the day before. So it was really interesting traveling at night. Not something I'd want to do all the time, but it was kind of neat to be out with the stars and the moon and all the boats with their little lights on. So it was kind of pretty doing that, and we were spaced apart, so we were at a safe distance from each other. So it's great to be here. Malcolm's already having a snooze, and I'm going to have a little nap as well. I already took the time to wash the boat down. We got a lot of salt spray, especially on the front of the boat, so I wanted to wash that off before it all got crusty. And so that's done. The boat's sort of put back to normal. We had kind of stowed things away just in case. And it was good we did, because the boat was rocking and rolling a little bit for about 3 or 4 hours. But all in all, a good trip, and it's good to be here. Hope you're having a great day. Are you fishing?
I am fishing. And I'm getting little bites. I don't know what they are. A lot of birds around here, and it's a wide open space, as you can see behind me.
What have you got there? What?
I've just got basically...
You're jigging?
I'm jigging. Yeah, I got a little bit of bait on there. And they'll catch dinner. Maybe. Look at that. We did the crossing.
Can you believe it?
We're done the big
Wow.
crossing.
I'm excited that it's done.
All that planning, all that consternation and worry. And it was long.
It was long, but it actually didn't feel as long as I thought it would.
No.
Yeah.
So
When it was my watch, kind of like, what was it, like 2 to 4 or 5 or something like that. I listened to a podcast and it went kind of fast. I was just kind of walking around looking at stuff and then I had to send our messages every hour.
Yep.
So it kept going faster than I thought, but it was choppier than I thought too then.
It was actually really choppy. I found it a little bit uncomfortable from about 3 until 7, 6,
Yeah,
something
I would
like
say
that.
it was 2 to 6 altogether. Yeah.
It was really not nice. I didn't think, but I know it can be a lot worse.
Yeah.
But
It was short period, so we were like kind of, the
banging.
bow was banging and we were getting a lot of spray on the bow, right?
At least it wasn't behind us and we weren't rolling, which was good. But
Yeah.
it was. I was hoping, and maybe it was just a hope that everything would be flat and we just sail in.
The perfect
Yes,
seat. Actually,
there would be bells and him singing as we came in, and unicorns would be flying, but that didn't happen. So but we did have a lot of good boaters with us. It was a good cooperative group, and we all came in together, and
everything went as scheduled pretty
everything
much.
everything went really well. There was so many boats crossing yesterday. I think there was upwards of, I think it was 18 or something like that if you take into account. And I don't believe there was sort of one mechanical issue or one issue that turned anybody back.
Yeah.
That's as far as I know.
There were no issues really.
No.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge benefit for everybody.
Yeah.
So now we're here. Now we get to enjoy
the west coast of Florida.
The west coast of Florida before we do the jump to Okeechobee. But I think we're going to spend some time to absorb some of this good stuff.
Yeah, it's beautiful tonight actually. Beautiful
It is.
sunset.
It's really nice.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that even though we got more chop than we expected, it was very magical being out there with the full moon and the stars and the reflection on the water and everybody's little lights on their boats as we went along. It was kind of neat.
It was really neat, especially when you look behind you and you see all the boats lit up, and then in the front you see them all there. So between all the boats and the moon rising was incredible.
It was incredible, and then of course the sunrise in the morning too.
Yeah, so I mean you could see the moon rise, sunset, and then you saw it just break over the surface of the horizon when we came in.
Yeah.
It's a very rare and I think unique experience when it comes to doing the loop.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad we did it, but I don't want to do it again.
No, we're done.
We're done overnight crossing.
We're done.
We're not young enough to do overnights.
No, I think it's on the edge of pleasure boating.
Yeah.
So let's just keep on that pleasure boat side.
Overnight crossing, check.
Done. Not again.